And I really want to go into some details because I remember when we signed off the last time, you gave us a little peep about how you bounce back. So I want you to go into some details about leadership lessons that you learned from the fall. The Greek call it the katabasis.
Got
So
it.
let's hear
Mhm.
about your leadership lessons from that experience.
Well, I think I thank you again for having me. And the thing is that one of the things you have to do is you have to accept what has transpired. And when I looked at it, I recognized that um, my situation was one in which I had not obeyed what God had told me to do, because God and I had an arrangement.
Right.
um, the arrangement was that I am supposed to do as best as I can, go reach as far as I can or could, in terms of whether it's academics or professional life. And then when I get to that place that God would have determined, I was supposed to reach back and speak to others who would have gone through similar circumstances. And I think last time I shared that growing up, life was a bit challenging. Um, we were humble. My grandmother always said, "Don't say poor." We were humble. And so growing up in a situation like in Roger's scheme, which was a typical community ghetto type situation, was a particular kind of experience. So my journey was to show that somebody from that kind of surroundings could excel in life, and to show others from that sort of environment the path forward. That was the arrangement God and I had. And so the next stage was where I was supposed to leave where I was at that time and complete my doctoral degree. And I felt when God said, after each contract, I'd say, "God, is it time yet?" And He'd say, "It's not time yet." Because part of the arrangement was once I have done what He asked, I would get anything that I wanted. So I was very anxious. And after the fourth contract, He said, "Time to go." But I had grown comfortable. And so I stayed longer than I should have. And so God did what He always does, make it in a way that you have no choice. So it's like Jonah in the whale.
That's it.
Um, so I found myself in a situation where, as a result of the public shaming, I couldn't go back to what persons would have known me for in terms of being a leader of a training organization. Nobody would touch me with a 10-foot pole. So I had to craft a different way. And so
Wow.
one of the first things was to recognize what had happened. And so I recognized what happened and immediately started to entreat God, ask forgiveness, and to really reconstruct the path forward. But it wasn't an easy thing. And so it had to be as a result of prayer and fasting and seeking God's face, to be able to reconnect and rebuild, um, you know, where from where you were. It's a situation where you keep falling and falling and falling and falling, and even though you're trying to create breaks, um, when I say breaks, stop yourself from sliding. It
Yeah.
wasn't easy. You had to go right up. And so between God and my family, my wife, who was there, supporting, who never once said, you know, uh, you you've made a mess of things, but always was looking for a way back, supporting throughout. And my mother, who felt that no one will do that to her son, and she was prepared to fight, prepared to go to court, prepared to go to war. Between both of them, it was really an opportunity to to plot a way back. And of course, the children were very, very, very supportive. But when you put your faith and trust in God, anything is possible.